well, you guys, I guess it's time for an update. Hey guys, Kira here from 50 Shades of Mom, back to share another video with you guys, and today's video is an update video. So many of you have been writing me and asking me and sending me well wishes on our move, asking what's going on, where are we, have we relocated yet, do I like my new home, what's going on with my mom. So much to share with you guys, so I'm going to give you the short abridged version the best that I can, but I wanted to at least update you guys because I haven't filled you in quite some time. So if you guys missed my last update video, I'll link it up above in the iCards and down below if you guys want to, like I said, check that out. But here's where we are at since that last update. So let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat and let's discuss the move. So are we still moving? Yes, we are still moving. We just need to sell our house first. So this process has taken like a really long time, way longer than I anticipated. I'm actually a little disappointed in myself for assuming that this process would go a lot faster than it has. We were just kind of basing a lot of our assumptions on statistics. So statistics in our area, the turnaround time is a heck of a lot faster than what we have seen in our neighborhood here lately. So there were like 3 or 4 people who put their house up at the same time as me, and 2 of them have removed their house from the market because they never sold, and 1 house is under contract right now. That was a house that was up, a couple of houses up for me on the block, but in my opinion, her house was a better value than mine was. I mean, she was pretty much asking the same price, but they are from like the next wave of building. When they were building in our area, they did it in different phases. So I am part of phase 2, and then that was part of phase 3 in their building. So Leanne, same thing with her house. That was phase 3 of building. So those houses were about 5 years newer than mine. So if I could pay the same price and only have 100 less square feet, I would get the house that was 5 years newer. So in my opinion, I would have bought her house before mine. But those other 2 houses that were up, they were in great shape, and I'm so surprised that they did not sell. In my opinion, I think they were better than my house as well, but both of them gave up and just took their houses off the market. And we all listed within the same like 7 to 10 days, which was the mid to the end of July. And I just think in our area, we just kind of missed the mark. We have one of the best school districts here in South Carolina. It's the 3rd best school district in the entire state. So everybody usually tries to get in to our school district, but I think they try to get in just a little bit earlier. And so I kind of think that we missed that window. We spent a lot of time doing like renovations to the house, and that was all renovations that we were doing. We didn't hire contractors or anything. Daryl, myself, Paul, we were all working diligently on the house to get it packed and to get it cleaned, and it just took a little bit longer than we had anticipated because we were still living normal life. Daryl has a full-time job and Paul had a full-time job, and I was still here dealing with everything and packing up the house. I pretty much packed every box in this house by myself. I mean, the guys loaded the pod, but I pretty much handled everything inside of here. So it was a lot of work, and I think we just missed the window. And so now I'm already down 20 grand than I wanted when I first started asking. And I'm at the point right now where I'm not willing to just give it away, but I'm definitely willing to negotiate a little bit more lackadaisical than I had before, where I was a little bit more strong-arming, because now we're having problems with our jobs moving forward. Daryl's position that he received, they're willing to hold it for just a tiny bit longer, but I do not think they're going to be willing to hold it in the length of time that it's going to take for us to sell our house. Now, if we had a bid and then we had a closing date, I would let Daryl go ahead. He can live with my girlfriend, and she would keep him, you know, safe and happy and cozy in her spare bedroom and fed and all of that, and I wouldn't have to worry about him, and he would be able to start his job. But I can't send him ahead and not know how long it's going to take for us to sell our house. What if it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 months? I'm not going to put him up in my girlfriend's house for that long of a time, and I don't want to be separated from him for that length of time. And so this has really put like a damper, because we put our house on the market for this particular job. But if they cannot hold the job, then now we've been looking for backup jobs just in case this doesn't work, but no one really wants to commit until they know when Daryl is going to be available, and I can't give them that answer. And so once we got back from New York, we both actively just found run-in-the-mill regular jobs that we can work for right now just to earn some money to keep us afloat while we're here. Daryl can't go back to his old job. They already filled that position, and to be honest, I don't know if I want him to go back. They really screwed him upon leaving. They were so angry that he left. They didn't pay him his paid vacation time. They didn't pay him any of his shopper bonuses nor his period 7 bonus that he earned, which was a fair amount of money, like $1,500 that they owe us that they don't want to pay because they're angry at Daryl for leaving. And so even if they didn't fill that position, I don't know if I'd want Daryl to go back and work for them, because the guy did such an amazing thing to their store in the 2 years that he worked there. Like, he turned it from crap to gold, and they know that, and I am bitter with them that they know that, and because they know that, they didn't want to have to work. They knew if they couldn't find a refill for his position, they were going to have to work, and they didn't want to work, and so they just got angry at him for leaving. And so right now I've, called the Department of Labor, and I've, called corporate, and I've left all the messages that I need to, but as far as him going back and working for them, I'm not interested in him putting in any more sweat and tears for a company that doesn't have his back upon leaving. They're still willing to give him an excellent recommendation, and it's their recommendation that helped get him the position that's waiting there for him. But at this point right now, I don't feel like giving them any more justice because they're being extremely unkind to him at the present time. So we've gotten jobs and stuff to fill our time, and like I said, to earn some money while we are here. And I don't regret the decisions that we made to put the house on the market and for him to leave his job and us to go and visit our families. His parents do not fly, and now with my mom's stroke, they said that she probably will never be able to fly again. It's not a never, but it's going to be a long time before they're able to know if she can or can't fly because of the cabin pressure. They don't want it to induce another stroke, and you certainly don't want to have a stroke on an airplane when you're thousands of feet into the air. So that being said, we're not going to a place that's of drivable distance anymore. It would only be flights. And so the idea of not being able to see his parents or my parents for a long time kind of sucked. So it made a smart decision for us to drive up and spend some time with my family. We drove up and spent some time with his family. We got to take our trip to Canada, and we got to accomplish a lot of things that we really wanted to do with our family and make some memories, since we don't really know the next time that we'll all be together again. So we don't regret those decisions, especially the quality time that we got a chance to spend with my mom. Now, my mom is doing a lot better. She's obviously not hospital bound anymore. She's been home. She was home a couple of days before we arrived there. And my mom has tons of therapists and stuff that are coming to the house. And lucky for my mom, she's been a state employee for over the last 20 years. That's why she never wanted to move ahead of time. She always wanted to retire for the state because she worked for a state hospital. So as long as you work for 20 years or more for the state, then they help you with your medical insurance for life. So that's been amazing for my mom because all this stuff has been covered. Her speech, her occupational therapist, her physical therapy, all those things have been covered, and they all come to the house. And the therapies have been working amazing for my mom, but we won't know yet still for a while how much of this will have residual effect. My mom is still having some left side weakness. She can lift her arm pretty much she has most of her rotary and most of her grand motor skills, but the fine motor skills, like doing anything like zippers or buttons, my mom can't do that. Because she doesn't have full use of this hand, there are so many things that you do with two hands that you don't realize. So she needs assistance in the shower because she can't put both hands up, to massage the shampoo and stuff in her head. And even if she could do that, it's hard for her to hold the shampoo bottle with her strong hand, but then pour it into the weak hand and be able to put that on top of her head and do the massaging. So there's so many little things that we take for granted every day that my mom is struggling right now to get her bearings as far as what she will and won't be able to do with herself moving forward. They do say with a stroke, most of your healing process, a lot of it happens in the first 6 weeks, and then there's still a bunch that can still happen in the first 6 months. And then by like the year marker, especially at my mom's age, she will kind of have reached her level of growth and healing at that point. So we still have some time to see how she's doing, but for right now, I can still talk to my mother, I can still call her, she could still FaceTime with my kids, and she's still smiling. And so that's the most amazing thing for right now. I know mentally it's still been a struggle for her. You know, she said she walked into that bathroom that day herself, and then in the bathroom had her stroke and came out another person. And so I can't even put myself in her shoes because I don't understand what it's like to have something like that happen. But I can certainly understand where she's coming from as far as feeling like she's not the same person. And so I definitely, you know, my heart goes out to my mom. I still respect all of you who continue to keep commenting that you're still praying for her and keeping her in your thoughts and your prayers. And that's really awesome because my mom definitely still needs that. She definitely still has a haul ahead of her, but she's definitely not where she was when this first happened. So by the grace of God, she has made it as far as she has. And even if she were to stop right where she is as far as her growing, I would take every ounce of her the way that she is right now. I'm sure any of us would. So at least that's where we're at with that for now. The kids have started school here because I wasn't going to obviously hold them out of school while we're in the process. We have had a tremendous amount of showings, so it's not really a fact that no one is interested. We actually had a couple of people who did place bids on the house. One person placed a bid, but it was a lowball bid because they only were approved for a certain amount. And so they came to us and said, we can't pay anything more than this. Will you take that? And so I said, I would take that, but then I'm not going to give all the other things that I was giving, appliances, carpet and paint allowance, all those other things. I wasn't going to give all of that on a lowball bid. And so unfortunately they said that was a no-go. They wanted the appliances and everything, so we let that go. And then we had a real person on the hook, like a real good person on the hook, but they were playing really hardball. They really weren't looking for negotiation. They wanted what they wanted, which was like $10,000 under list price. They wanted all of their closing costs covered. They still wanted all the appliances, which was only coming with a full priced offer. They wanted all of these things fixed. They wanted us to wait 30 days till they closed on their house. That was all contingent that theirs went through. They wanted a closing date for like 45 days out. It was like a laundry list of stipulations that they wanted in order to take this house. And so we tried going back and forth with them, and they didn't want to go back and forth. It was what they said or nothing. But this was my house, so I wasn't gonna make those decisions and say like, okay, well, you get to call the shots, because that's not how this was going. Part of me regrets it now. I think maybe I just should have went for it and taken that deal, because we would have been out of here already by now. We would have been closed and gone and on our way to our next destination. I definitely would have taken a hit in what I was asking for, but now with what I've dropped it, I'm probably gonna end up about the same amount anyways, so that's my own stupidity. But it was so early in the game and we weren't even home. This was all while we were still in New York, and so this was all back and forth by email and text messaging and phone calls, and it was just a lot. So we've had a showing pretty much every other day. We've had really great feedback since we've been home. I think the feedback while I was gone wasn't the greatest, because I was expecting Paul and those who are watching my home to kind of tidy up and do all the things that I would have done, remop the floors and stuff. People were coming in, drinking the drinks that I left in the refrigerator, eating the snacks, dropping crumbs on the floor. It rained, they're tracking in mud, and then nobody was coming in and cleaning behind them before the next set of people came in. And so I don't really feel like they got the true experience of my home, because I wasn't really here to set the tone. But since we've been back and we've been here to set the tone, we've had a hell of a lot better feedback. Some people have liked it, and it's in their top 3, or it's in their top 5, or one person said they really like the house, but it's a little far from their job, which I understand because I kind of live way out in the country and I'm not really near anything, no like big shopping centers. You gotta drive 10, 15, 20 minutes to kind of get to Salvation, and some people don't want to just live this far out. And if they work in Charlotte or in the bigger cities and they don't want to be 45 minutes to an hour from where they're working, this is probably not the best option, which has been what some people said is just location, that it's kind of far out. But our fingers are crossed, and we'll continue to keep you guys posted. As we know things, I will let you guys know. But for now, unfortunately, it's still business as usual. But it's not really business as usual because we are sleeping on air mattresses, and I do not have any of my stuff in my house. None of my lunch stuff for my kids, which is driving me crazy. None of my pots and pans, like all of my stuff, everything's packed in a stinking pod. So it's been quite the adjustment trying to kind of pull us all together and still function in life in a regular routine the way that we're doing it, but we're doing it. And I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So there's a reason why we're waiting. I'm not really sure what it is, but God has another plan. So I'm just going to keep going with that. And I appreciate all of your patience, your well wishes, all of you guys cheering us on. And I promise you, the more I know, the more you guys will know. So thank you guys again so much for watching. If you appreciated the update, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Wish us luck selling our house. I love you guys all so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.